I wanted to talk just a little bit more about transformation, the process of transformation. We started that last week, and I'm sort of in a process around all of it. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay. Wanting to unpack it a little bit more and illuminate the way, as we say. This process of transforming poison into wisdom, which sounds really hard and really, kind of scary, maybe even. But if we can recognize the poisons, meaning the reactive emotions that get triggered in our lives on a regular basis, if we can recognize these as energy and not attach to them or identify with them, then we are on the way to transformation. But when we have the five poisons being ignorance, anger, pride, desire, and jealousy. Those are what in Buddhism we call the five poisons. And these are operating in us all the time. Some of us have a tendency towards one or the other more prominently. And if you're interested, I can unpack the five poisons more at another time. But in any case, if we can experience these reactive emotions that arise in us without attachment, without identification, and just experience them as energy, we can begin to recognize their nature. And in the Dharma, we actually talk about the nature of these energies as first appearing as light and sound, and then color, each one of them having a different color and a different connection to the elemental energies of nature, meaning the earth element, the water element, the fire element, air and space elements. So it's kind of an incredible view. And I love it because it connects to Gaia. It connects to our own nature and the nature of life on Earth, our embodied experience. So when these energies, these elemental energies are flowing through us, through our bodies, these various elemental energies, or through the ecosystem of the planet, there is harmony. And when these elemental energies are blocked or out of balance, they become reactive. And then those energies express themselves as anger or desire or pride or jealousy or ignorance, depending on what's getting triggered and what our own basic energy or nature is. Some of us have a tendency to react in anger more than others. Some of us react by ignoring or going into denial. And each one of these poisons takes us down a path of reactivity that when we habitually go there, it becomes like, you know, that's just who we are. And we don't know how to be free. So Mother Nature teaches us about the cycles and the rhythms for restoring balance to her system and to our own systems. And a healer, like an acupuncturist. In acupuncture, you know, we move the energy through the meridians with the help of needles to restore balance and assist the system to come into right relationship again. And I sometimes think about the earth, you know, when the earth is disrespected, when she's upset, overworked, consumed, ignored, demeaned, she becomes reactive too, right? But when she's treated with respect and kindness, caring, those elemental energies of her true nature can naturally find their way back into harmony. So we need to both take care of her and to take care of ourselves. And when we do, these reactive patterns settle down. When we can see them as energy, the energy of fire or water, air, earth, space, it helps. And through meditation, we are able to more easily dissolve our ideas and our emotional fixations and habits, so that these reactive emotional patterns, these habits that we get into, that we identify with and we think of as being who we are. And we don't know how to break the pattern. We don't know how to transform because we think that's how it is. But through meditation, it is such an incredible medicine. It's like, it's a healing balm, the way acupuncture is a healing force to restore balance in the system. Because when we meditate, when we come back to the present moment and let those reactive patterns rest for the time that we're here, coming back to our breath, many of those patterns just release all on their own. Do you know what I mean? So the ones that don't, those are the places that we become aware of, we need to work with much more directly. And in resting in awareness, we can see into the nature of that particular poison, where it's coming from. And slowly, they can be experienced as energy, and we can relax our grip. Those energies can relax enough that they become actually, this is another very interesting perspective, they transform into wisdom. When we see them for what they are, when we can go to the source, see the elemental energies operating inside of those poisons, we can see that water is the water element in its wisdom nature is mirror-like wisdom. And when that, anger comes forward, sometimes anger can be very clear, even very helpful when it is not caught in the reactivity. And each of those poisons has a wisdom nature that is part of our awakened awareness. Is this too esoteric, or does it make sense? Okay. Thank you. I find it fascinating, and I think that this teaching has a tremendous, hey, thanks, Eva, tremendous value in coming into wholeness or healing, which also the practice of meditation is facilitating. In the Vajrayana Dharma, we talk about the mandala of the 5 families. And, the mandala is a map of wholeness for the psyche, for our nature. And so the center and the 4 directions of the mandala connect with these colors, these elemental energies, and these wisdoms. So it can become a whole path of finding our way into wholeness. The red, anger, the blue, water, the red is the desire, the fire, the blue, the water, the anger, the yellow, the earth, the pride, and the white. I'll just go through. The white is the ignorance, the space element, and the green is the jealousy or the air element. And each one of these has their wisdom nature. When we can relax enough to experience it for what it is without attaching to it. So much of the practice of meditation is about learning how to let go. And just be with whatever is arising without attachment, without interpretation, without going into the stories of what it's all about. That nature. We want the nature of our own, the flow of our nature to express itself with ease, with clarity. Anyway, there's lots more to be said on this particular subject, and I can do that. If you're interested, you can let me know. But for now, let's just take all that in and let it kind of like land. Imagine our bodies as a mandala, and all of those poisons and wisdoms and colors and elemental energies finding their place as we return to the breath, and let all the thoughts and the ideas and the concerns that we're attempting to transform in our lives. I know we're all in the midst of a lot of that right now. Letting that process find its own way without effort. This is the other core important point about meditation and transformation is relaxation and ease. We're not going to facilitate this process if we try too hard and effort. So let's take a breath. Find our seat as we take the next hours or so to relax and trust that that part of us that is showing up here is inviting this process of transformation and awakening. And that's enough. And allow the rest of it to take its course, you know, like a fever taking its course. That process has its own sense of time, its own sense of just about everything. And the magic that happens when we come into our seat, allow the breath to move through the central channel, out into all of the meridians, organs, and limbs, and sensory experiences that make us up, that are also connected to the elemental energies, by the way. Let's let them find their natural flow and ease. And we'll come back to each other to share our experience at the end of the 2 rounds of meditation and the walking meditation in between.